Hi and welcome to my playhouse. And today I have a little task here on the table. I have two of these small Lenovo tiny PCs, and these are the M93p ThinkCentre from Lenovo. It has a license key there, so I'm gonna put my finger over that because that's actually a Windows 7 Pro DK Danish version, and that's exactly what I'm going to be installing on these, so I can use that license key, so I'm going to protect that. But these small Lenovo PCs are pretty cool. I really love the form factor of them. So I have two here, and I need to prepare these to go for my mechanic. He needs new PCs. He's running on some old, really old Hewlett-Packard DC 7900 small form factor ones. So those are like, I think they must be about 8 times larger than this one. So this is going to be an improvement in later technology, and it's going to take up a lot less space. I don't know what's in these. I think it has a spinning disk. We're going to replace that with a SSD, and then we need to see how much RAM is in there. They don't need a lot of RAM, so anything, well, 4 gigabytes is plenty. And if it only has 2, I'll probably upgrade it because 4 is better. But not a huge amount. This is a very normal use case for a production environment. My mechanic is not a heavy IT user. Well, he actually is. He has a lot of computers for a mechanic workshop, but he doesn't use them much. He does a bit of surfing. All of the suppliers of auto parts are online now, so he usually has like three or four windows opens, and then what could it be? Brake cable, searches for them one place and other place and third place, and makes sure to buy them the cheapest place. And that's a lot of what he does. And then he has his finance system, which is really old and running off DOS. It's called Navigator, and later it was renamed to Navision, and then Microsoft bought it. But the version that he's running is pre all of that. That's an issue, and why I can't run it off Windows 10. Maybe I could, but I haven't figured it out yet. And Windows 7 works just fine, so I'm gonna keep it on there for now. Yeah, if I mess too much with it, I have to sort everything out. And if it ain't broken, don't fix it. And if something isn't working, guess who he's gonna call? Whee! So very important to keep the stuff that he's running on stable, so that I don't have to do as much. So that's the plan, and that's the general plan in many production environments. Make sure to make a system that doesn't break, so you don't have to fix it. But yeah, let's take these apart. I've been rambling far too long already. So let's see. You have a little screw on the back to remove. Screw that. I haven't had these open, so that's always interesting. I have been sourcing some hard drives for these as well, because they don't need much. I'm sure the ones that are in here would be fine. Oh dear. Maybe I have screwed around with them. So 64 gigabyte SSD from System X system. Yeah, that's really well. Maybe I've just prepared them. I have. I put that hard drive in both of them, but I have forgotten about that. So we need to take it apart to see what if I also fix the RAM. There's a little screw here, and I think there's a screw up there for the hard drive. There is one RAM block in here. There's room for 2. I need some glasses. I'm getting old. This looks like a original RAM block, so it might be a 4 GB block. Lenovo one. It's a 4 GB block. Fantastic. You get some better performance if you put in a RAM block in each of them, the same one. There. So this one is good to go. It's a little bit dusty here. I broke one of these fans cleaning it. These fans here can get a bit crispy after years of use, so be very careful if you're gonna try and clean this, because, well, the fan blades will just break off because the plastic has become brittle. So yeah, I've walked right into that trap, and luckily I had another machine with a fan that I could borrow while I purchased a new fan for that machine. That's in the video some time ago. It also has a slot here for some Wi-Fi stuff that I hope to figure out how to use one day. You can put in a Wi-Fi thingy here, and I'm hoping that I can maybe get something that I can put it out the back and use an extension PCI Express. It says it's a mini PCI E1, so something like a network card or something. I would like to pop that in there at a later date, not right now. Now we have to. I have been postponing this for quite some time, so I better do something. This one is good. I'll put it back together and we'll have a look at the other one just to make sure that has the same amount of RAM. Okay, we are in lock. It has exactly the same amount and type of RAM, so those two machines should be similar. And yeah, we're just gonna pop that back in there, and I'll put that back together. So the machines are back together. It's pretty awesome that I can carry two PCs like in one hand. So let's just have a quick look at this machine. It can sit like this on the table, or it can just sit like this. I have some metal brackets, so you can mount it on the side of your table or something if you want to get it out of the way. Mount it on the wall. On the front there's an on-off button. There are some LEDs in here as well that shows if the unit is on and if it's doing anything on the hard drive. Then it has a USB 3 port here. It has a microphone in. It has a headset thing out. There is also like a microphone on that. I've never tried if that is a thing. And there is a charging USB port here, which is, as you know, if you power the unit, there will be power on this USB port. So even if the system is off, you should be able to charge your phone or something from that port. Then there are some fans here. Well, it will take air in and throw it around in the fan here and blow it out the back there. On the back there is a power connector, and these are the Lenovo square connectors that you can also put in both ways, which is awesome. Then we have a digital display port. There is just one in this one. I have another one here just to show you, because this same PC has it is extendable to have two digital display ports, one there and there. And yeah, it's like a port in the chassis that can be used for different stuff. Very often that would be used as a serial connection, but in this case it's a second digital display port. So let's continue with this one. Two USB ports. This one says something about keyboard. I don't know if there's any difference there. Then there is a hole for this locking system where you can lock it to a table. Very widely used in environments where people come and go, like schools and educational stuff, where, well, there's a lot of people that might want a very nice Lenovo tiny PC that will fit in any bag. I think you know what I mean. And then there's a old style VGA connection, which I'm gonna be using in just a second, because that way I don't have to mess around with getting my monitor to do digital display, which I don't think it would be a big problem. Well, I'm just gonna use that one because I have that connection sitting, because I use it in all the servers. Then we have a 1 gigabit network connection, there, and we have the last USB port right there. And there's room for an antenna. So there was that mini PCI Express port in there, and that is meant for putting in Wi-Fi and the antenna coming out of the system. I have that on the tiny Lenovo machine that I use every day. This is my very simple setup here. I'm also not a heavy computer user. I can live with this tiny PC over here, and you can see it has an antenna. And down here is the card reader where the card from the camera will go into, and that's the reason why you're watching this video, because I read the data on the card reader and the antenna. I do have a network cable in it, but it is also set up to use the Wi-Fi. Okay, so this is the setup. On top of a very expensive server, we have two rather inexpensive Lenovo PCs, and it's connected to the switch, which is not on. Why is it not on? Oh, there's no. No, it should be on. We should see some power there. Okay, I have a doubtful power connection on that switch. That's not good. Yeah, never mind. But I have another experiment that I want to do, because I've always been talking about these yellow connections here. Oh, can you see the yellow? That charging thing. And now the PC is off, and I have this little fan here that we saw in a previous video. Little USB fan, and if we plug that in, I have tested it, so I know that it's gonna work. So you can see it charging, so that's okay. And it also goes somewhere. I've already broken it. It used to have 3 speeds, now it doesn't. So yeah, the charging port works. Someone asked in the comments of a video lately if I ever clean up, and I do understand where that is coming from. This is a bloody mess. I do clean up. I try to keep IT out of the other living room. This is the second living room, and that's where I play around with some IT stuff. But yeah, I have mounted my keychain here. I run around with a 256 gigabyte USB key in my keychain, and it has multiple ISO files on there, and there should be a Windows 7 Danish version. Danish is because mechanics, they are not that fond of foreign languages, so yeah, that's why it's Danish. Power on. Do we get anything on the screen? Do we have to persuade it over here to use the VGA cord maybe? Hey, it works right away. There is nothing on the disk, so it's trying to do some. Do we get any options here? Ah, that worked right away. It's really weird working with PCs. They don't make the same wonderful noises as. Oh, there it is. It's the very last one. So yeah, they are so quiet. I don't even think it's spinning the fan. Let's hope this works. Otherwise, it's gonna be a bloody short video. Yeah, it springs into action. I'm not gonna let you see installing Windows 7 in Danish. That is too advanced for you guys. So let's be back when I'm done. Okay, I'll just show you that it is Danish. So it's even the installation is speaking Danish here. So yeah, that's gonna be no fun for a video in English. Okay, so Windows 7 Danish installed very nicely on this machine. It even agreed to use the license key on the back of the computer, so that was fantastic. I have an issue there because there's a big red cross over the network connection over here, and if we go in here we can see that it has a lot of stuff that it doesn't recognize, and this is very often something that happens if you try to install an operating system that is older than the machine that you're installing it on. Because of the operating system being older, it does not have all the new drivers that is needed for that newer machine. So yeah, I have popped in a USB key that should contain the network driver, and with the network driver I can go to the internet and I can update the rest, which is going to be way easier than going forth and back to my computer, feeding it with multiple drivers all the time. And this should be some Realtek network driver. It turned out to not be a Realtek driver, but an Intel driver, so I had to download some more driver packages. And it's now working. You can see down here that the network is back up and running. But it doesn't matter much, because in the meanwhile I've figured out that I am now running a 32-bit operating system, and well, I do really want to try and see if I can get that up to a 64-bit operating system instead. So I'm in the background here, I'm trying to download a new version of Windows 7 64-bit. So now that is fixed. That was a little bit of extra work, downloading a new version and reinstalling it to be 64-bit operating system. And as you can see down here, the network is also not good on the 64-bit version. So we have our USB key here with the network drivers. Pop that in and open that, and it was the larger one that we had to install. That one. Drivers for Intel. Oh wait, I need to check if that's 32-bit or 64-bit. Yeah, see, that is 32 bits. I need to download some new versions. There we are, the same driver, but for 64 bits instead. So, and with this driver in, which is the network driver, I'll be able to do the rest of the drivers from the machine itself. Okay, it's not entirely happy at the moment. It does not want to install Windows updates for this Windows 7. I was able to download Chrome, but had to mess around with some SHA2 certificate that needed to be installed. But yeah, I'm messing with this. I think I might want to try and go and get the Lenovo Advantage package. That will help keep a Lenovo PC up to date. That one. Ah, dang it. That only works for Windows 10 and 11, but at least I figured out why it didn't work. So on Lenovo's page for downloading drivers, there is like there's a manual download of drivers, and then there's automatic download of drivers, and there's a scan. So I punched in the serial number over here, and it's figured out what model of a PC we are dealing with there. So let's start the scan and see if it figures out anything, or if this operating system is just too old. It says that Lenovo service bridge has stopped working. So there is new firmware for the system. I'm not having a lot of luck right now, so I thought maybe new firmware will help me out. So I've downloaded that, and it's in here in the flash. It's called that. There is a file here that looks like to be the one that we have to run. There's command line as well. Let's try that one. Okay, so it seems to be, well, this file that needs to be run, but they have very conveniently made a bash file that we should be able to run. Seems we need to do that from DOS or something. Okay, let's see if this is better. Oh, we get some errors. I think I got it. I started the DOS prompt as administrator. That helped a lot. And then I was able to run the flash command com thing, or batch file, and now it's doing something. And yeah, this should give us a 2021 BIOS, I believe, even if it says 2022 on the web page. But I think they just update it once in a while so that you think you're getting a newer thing that you're actually getting. And it boots and it continue updating. We should not turn off the system, and that's probably a good idea. Right, new VRAM blocks. It's dangerous to not show anything on the screen. Okay, it's in Windows again. Okay, now we are getting somewhere. This product from Lenovo called System Update. After installing some .NET stuff that it needed, it's updating stuff here. And it even tells me in Danish that I have to agree to the license agreement thingy. Oh, lots of good stuff here. We want it all. Desktop Power Manager. Let's just get that too. Next. Okay, we're getting somewhere. That worked out very well. These are all the drivers that it installed for the system, like a video driver and audio driver and chipset driver and power management, and yeah, it was good drivers, and I didn't have to install them individually, so that was awesome. So after researching, that means Googling, I found that these two Windows updates is needed to update the updating system, so that the updating system can start looking for the updates that you need to update the system with. It's not great that the Windows 7 old version, okay, it is from 2010, isn't able to go directly and update itself, but has to have some manual updates downloaded. But I am expecting that this will take forever and ever when it at some point finds all the updates. So yeah, it can for sure be a big job to reinstall a computer like this. Also a server. Usually the server operating systems are easier to install than this that I'm just installing here. Somehow there's not as many changes, and the hardware in the server is more compatible. They don't have fancy graphics cards or sound controllers or stuff like that. So it's more like standard things that they put in there. So yeah, I am gonna continue this. I think this is such a big task that when I'm done with this, I'm gonna figure out some way to clone that hard drive over to the other machine, because I really don't want to do this again. So if I could ask you for a like for this video, it would be awesome. Other than that, thank you very much for watching my videos. Do subscribe to my channel so you can see me again, and have a really nice day. Bye bye.